Fuck off. I hate that.
Fuck you, I hate you, and Frank. And I'll be like, okay. She doesn't even live there. I'm never going to not think about that for the rest of my life.
She's not there.
Honestly, I used to do stand-up, and I used to do a whole set about it. And
Really?
I thought it was so funny because I'm Jewish. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And no, the fuck I can't.
Yeah.
People were not, especially
They're not
now,
having it?
No, I would get canceled with that set now.
Yeah.
Welcome to So Funny It Hurts, where we interview your favorite funny people and explore the trauma that made them that way. Now, I'm so excited about this episode because more than I am excited, my girlfriend hasn't been excited about anybody but me in 9 years, and I'm a little fucking over it, but I'm going to get into it very quickly.
Well, I'm happy you can take some of the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, please do. It's exhausting being with women.
You're
Shay
telling me.
is joining us. Dude, I'm so happy you're here. Also, you're so cool in person. I'm sure you know that and people say that. But how great are you?
I mean, I hope I am. I just try to be a pretty chill vibe. I like to be relaxed and pretty low key. I came here in flip flops. That's kind of
hot.
That's kind of my thing. I just want to be doing what I like to do, which is doing stand up and making content and having fun. And everything else is kind of beside that. I just don't want to stress.
Yeah, I love that. I spent the morning watching your interview with Bert, and it was incredible, by the way.
Thank you.
But there's so many different sides of you.
Yeah.
That I think at the very least I'm being introduced to, especially watching that. And it was so nice. It's nice to see all these very different sides of you, especially because I think we got to know you. How do you think people got to know you?
I think TikTok is the biggest thing where I popped originally. It's been several different stages. I've been doing stand up for 10 years.
Yeah.
So it was the whole journey of doing stand up, and then I think 6 or 7 years into stand up I started working for this YouTube channel, and that was a top 10 list YouTube channel that had when I was working there they had 7 million followers. It might be even bigger now. And then I was able to get a little bit of groundswell off of that, and a lot of people saw me on there. I still get recognized from that sometimes. And then pandemic happened, and then TikTok shot me into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Where I was now I could sell out venues, and I could go on the road, and I moved to the States, and I could get my visa, and my life changed very quickly in that 2-year period of COVID. So I would say, TikTok is probably where I get recognized the most, but it's been all these different stages getting there.
Yeah. Well, you're headlining in Vegas, which is why you're here. Have you been to Vegas before? Is this your first time?
My first time.
No way. A Vegas Verge.
Yeah. And I didn't really know what to expect. I didn't look up anything, but it is it's... Because New York, been living in New York for the last year, and New York can be an overwhelming city. There's so much to see and so much to do and so many restaurants. But Vegas is bro, lights, and walking into my hotel, it's consumption. It's you want to gamble, you want to eat, you want to get a coffee, you want to spend money. It's just everything is so in your face and gaudy.
Your sensory's on overload.
Yeah. But I'm really liking it. I like just how I want to go to the Orb. I want to see all these things. I've been here for less than 24 hours, but I'm enjoying it.
Okay, are you drinking? Are you going to go out? Are you going to do your thing?
So I might go out. I've been taking a little break from booze. I'm trying to clean it up a little bit, but I'm a friend of mine. I just met her, but we had messaged a little bit. She was oh, I know some dive bars and stuff in the city and some good places to get food. So I was dive bars are my vibe. I love a little grungy dive bar. So we're gonna probably go out after the show tonight. My opener used to live out here in Vegas, so he's gonna take me to some restaurants and stuff. I'm a big food guy, so I want to eat at good places when I'm in a new city. And so he's gonna take me to some hot spots to eat. And I'm only here for 3 days, and 2 of them I'm working. So
honestly, it's the best. Any more days in Vegas when you're here on vacation or working is too much because you're literally on sensory overload the entire time.
Yeah.
By the time it's really like the movie Hangover. If you're here just visiting.
And I can see why they make movies about this place because it's wild. I've only seen a fraction of it. And I was just, walking to the hotel was just so shocking. I was like, yo, there's so much going on nonstop. And everyone just seemed like they were like, their pupils are just dilated from all the shit they're taking in constantly.
Yeah. Well, because you're from Canada.
Yeah.
And the town that you were raised in, was it small town? Are you a small town guy?
Not small town, like suburbs. Like there's probably like 100,000 people in my town. Maybe it's a little more. Like the area's been blown up quite a bit. But like boring suburbs. Think strip malls. Think like that weird beige color, that like off beige brown that's on everything that's generic. Highways, freeways, like that. It was like real boring where I grew up.
Yeah.
I grew up maybe an hour outside of Vancouver, but I never really went down to Vancouver as a kid. I didn't really start traveling and going out and seeing stuff until I was like 18.
Yeah, I love Vancouver. I did a gig there a few years ago. The people are so nice.
Very nice.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just really like lovely people.
There's a lot of stuff I really like about Vancouver. Vancouver, beautiful city. Like the geography of the city is amazing. The people are super nice. The food's really good. The women, I love the women out there. They're all like kind of like hippie, grungy. Like they got that like earthy granola thing going on. A little bit.
Wait, you actually said something so funny in an interview I watched of you. Speaking of dive bars and hot women, you made a great comparison when someone asked what your type is.
Oh yeah, I said it's like almost like if you were watching the movie
Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast, and how everyone.
Not me being a stalker, by the way. I'm like,
no.
It was Beauty and the Beast. That's what you said.
That was it. In Beauty and the Beast, everyone gets turned into something. So like one person gets turned into a candlestick, another person gets turned into a teapot. A girl I'm interested in would get turned into a dive bar. She just have like all her tattoos are like weird graffiti on the walls. There's like this smell in there.
Yes.
I like a grimy girl, definitely.
Are you dating now or are you single?
I'm single right now, but I've definitely been like leaning more into something, looking for something maybe more serious, because I've been like single since I want to say like 2019 or something like that. And even since high school, my longest relationship has been about 6 months. So like I graduated in 2010, and then I've dated 2 girls since then, and both those relationships were 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So I haven't like seriously dated anyone in over a decade.
That's crazy. So how old does that make you if you're cool?
I'm 31.
31.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you just always been so focused on your stand-up career?
I've just never, I think I didn't understand what I wanted in terms of a relationship. And also you're really like pitch this idea of what monogamy is, and like what a relationship as one structure. You meet someone, you're with them forever, you get married, you have kids, you have a house, and all that stuff like repulses me. I have no interest in building this very like static life. But as I've gotten older,
you're leaving that beige brown. You're sick of that shit.
I hate the suburbs, bro. No, I can't do it for a second. So I think as I've grown up, I've understood what I want and what my worth is and what I offer and the things I'm willing to compromise on and the things I'm not willing to compromise on. So I think I'd be ready to approach something serious with someone, and then we can discuss the terms of what the relationship is within that person. I'm also a big part of like my relationship is my relationship. Because you see that it's like really popular on like TikTok and all these platforms, YouTube, to do this like debate thing now. They'll have like 3 OnlyFans girls and then 3 like Christian dudes, and they're like, you're a whore, and they're like, you're stupid, and like that. Nothing gets done. It's just like just talking for the sake of talking, and it's like inflammatory. I'm like, it doesn't matter what anyone's opinion here is. You create a relationship with a person, and that's your personal thing. Yeah. And you don't need to have other people's outside opinions influence it. You just need to be happy with that person. So whatever your terms are, your own.
Yeah, I think I've been with my partner for 9 years, and she's a DJ. We gig a lot together. Yeah. We like put ourselves out there, not necessarily for social media reasons of like validation, but we work a lot together.
Yeah.
So we opened ourselves up for criticism, I have to say we've never like knock on wood really received like LGBTQ criticism. Like people have been pretty cool. But I agree. Like, I don't want to hear anybody's opinion on my relationship.
Yeah, it's yours.
I don't care what you have to say. Mm-hmm. I don't care, good or bad. And I feel like we're kind of in this, you being so influential on TikTok. Mm-hmm. Like, do you think that would be difficult for you to keep your personal life private? Do you think you owe your fans some of that, or where do you stand with that?
My philosophy for content creation is always give people what you're like willing to give them. So if you watch a lot of my content, like I don't like do my hair or like make sure the lighting's perfect or like set up anything like that, because I was like, the crux of what the content is going to be the jokes. So I try to make sure I'm writing a lot of jokes in every video I'm reacting to or talking about or any content I'm making. That's what people are coming for. So the other aspects of my life I've chosen not to give. Like I've done a little bit. I did one video that was kind of like a spoof on the come with me while I blah, blah, blah. And it was come with me while I get my STD test. And so I did that. It's like they're taking my blood and I'm going to find out if I have chlamydia.
You're so annoying.
And so that's like, I've been willing to give that stuff. I'm thinking about doing some stuff that's a little bit more behind the scenes with stand-up, because I want, obviously, the whole point of doing everything, I started creating content and all this stuff, is just to get more people into the stand-up, because not only is that my favorite thing to do, but it's the thing I legitimately do the best. If you like the online videos, then the live show is like incredible.
Yeah.
But as long as you choose not to show those sides of yourself, people will enjoy the content you give them, and you can evolve your content in different ways, like a podcast, or maybe you pitch a TV show, or I put out a stand-up special. All these things are ways that I can give people more aspects of content without revealing too deep of my personal life.
Yeah.
Or wherever I draw the line on that.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's so good to have boundaries, especially when you're a comic.
Yeah.
The part of the reason I made this podcast is because I think that it's always fascinating how people are able to blend pain with their comedy.
Yeah.
Personally, that's how I started. I came from a lot of trauma and a lot of dysfunction, like we all do, but truly it's what made me funny, and it made me, I don't know if it was confident or more living in survival mode, but I got the job done that I needed to.
Yeah.
So growing up for you, like in suburbia, in beige brown, was your comedy sort of what you relied on to keep things fun for you, or was it more of like a tool you needed?
I think I grew up in a very funny house that was like, we were joking around constantly. It was definitely always at someone's expense. We were like ripping each other. Have you seen the show Succession?
Yeah.
You know how they're like mean to each other, like viscerally, constantly?
Yeah, no, I'm Italian, so that's my house.
So yeah, that's exactly, I watched that show and I told my sister, I was like, you got to watch this. It's like how we grew up. It's like how we talk to each other. Just being like, just cutting each other constantly. And it was like a good and bad. There was like, I don't talk to my mom anymore.
Oh my God, I don't talk to my mother either.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, you're on the same page.
Let's dive into your divine feminine and see what's going on. Me too.
Yeah, we can unbox all my mommy issues here.
The mama trauma.
Yeah. But yeah, there's like, I think I definitely consumed a lot of comedy to keep things interesting as a kid. And that was like my favorite form of media, and I think still is. It's changed a bit to like be more refined to what I find funny. But like, I watched The Simpsons nonstop, like reruns of The Simpsons constantly. Family Guy was big when I was a kid.
Yeah.
We were constantly watching sitcoms like The Office, all these things. I never really got into Friends. That was one where I was like, this isn't my vibe.
Same.
But I think from that upbringing of constantly shooting at each other and making fun of each other, and it was like, if you could get someone at their weakest point, it was like what the goal was. One of my earliest memories is me falling off of a seesaw. I'm maybe like 4. So I like go up on, like I go to the top part of the seesaw and I lose my balance. I fall off. I like land in those wood chips that are on the playground. I'm like covered in them. And I'm young enough where I'm waiting for like my mom to come get me. And no one comes for long enough where I realize I'm like, oh, well, I got to kind of deal with this myself. And I get up and I like brush my stuff off. And then I realize that my mom hasn't come to help me because she's like hunched over. She's literally on all fours, laughing so hard she can't physically move to come get me.
And now I see why you don't talk to that bitch. Where was she?
But I mean, that is funny. It is so
Yeah.
funny. It's so funny. People getting hurt is very funny. I have a video that I'll show my sister whenever I visit her of this guy taking out his recycling, and he slips on the ice, like on his front steps, and he lands on his back, and he's like, "Oh," and he's like moaning, and he's
I know the video.
yeah. And he's so hurt he doesn't take the recycling to the thing. He just goes back inside. And
I know.
when I show her that, she goes like, "Turn it off. I'm going to piss myself." Like, it's so funny. So in growing up, people getting hurt, people getting made fun of, like all that stuff was like top tier comedy in our house. That was real good stuff. I have a memory of my dad watching When Animals Attack, and a lady gets hit.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
I loved it. I feel so bad at laughing. I really do. Like, I'm very sensitive and empathetic. So I always feel so bad laughing when people get hurt. But
it's
my
good.
God, it's so funny.
Yeah. This lady gets hit into a tree by a buffalo, and like it's like she gets like 20 feet in the air. This buffalo tosses her. I remember my dad just being like dying, like, oh, stupid lady. He would say.
Wait, is that accent because he's Haitian? Mm-hmm. Is that what's up?
Yeah, that's what's up.
So was it crazy growing up? What's your mother? Is your mother Haitian as well?
No, just my dad. My mom's white, like a whole bunch of white stuff, like French, Dutch. She grew up in Quebec, but she grew up in like the Anglophone part of Quebec.
Got it.
Yeah.
So was it difficult, interesting growing up Haitian, half Haitian, in the city that you were raised? Was it pretty whitewashed or no?
I would say my like neighborhood was pretty whitewashed, but like my school, like there wasn't the thing is there was like no black influence. There was like Vancouver already has a very small black population, and my school just did not. I was like the only black kid in my elementary school, or maybe there was some other kids in other grades, but I really don't remember that. In middle school, there was like I was one of like 4 black kids in my grade, and then in high school there was maybe like 8 black kids in my grade. Like there was very few black people, but that being said, like super multicultural. Like my friend group from when I was in elementary school, because I went to different schools that kind of like divided me from like my elementary school and middle school was all the same group, and then I went to a high school that was on a different part of town, so I had a different friend group.
Yeah.
But like my elementary school friends, there was like 2 white kids, a Korean kid, and 2 kids from Afghanistan. That was like and then me. And then so that was like the core group. And then when I was in middle school, there was kids from all over the world. A kid from Serbia, a kid who was like half Filipino. There was like, it was very mixed constantly. So I never found difficulty in race. Yeah, no, none of that.
Which is good. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your father was very influential culturally.
Yeah.
Having it in the home and everything.
There was a decent amount. He didn't expose me to a ton. Like food-wise, yeah. Like I am a very big food guy. I love food. We'd have like Haitian Christmas where like we would make a whole bunch of Haitian food. But he like didn't teach me to speak Creole, and there wasn't too much influence in terms of like what the culture was like. He would tell me stories and stuff. But I don't think there was that much immersion. I was very much grown up like culturally was like raised by television. So like anything that was like 90s culture, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, Dragon Ball Z, like that's all stuff that like ingrained my personality as a kid growing up, and then it further into the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. You're such a funny nerd.
Oh, thank you.
In the best way. In the best way, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, I get that. I was raised on television. Roseanne raised me.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I literally like wanted to belong to that family, and I think that's what made me funny. I thought their like dry sense of humor was so great, and I definitely relate to making fun of each other, and like it was survival of the fittest in my house as well, which got me ready for probably the world. It was probably the best tool I could have had for real life. So when you decided to go into stand-up, how old were you when you decided you were ready to like make that a career?
So I was like 20 or 21. when I did my first set, I had been consuming stand-up like crazy in my teens. Like I can't, I don't know how many times I watched Chris Rock specials. Like I would just consume stand-up constantly. But I didn't ever think about doing it because I thought you had to be famous to do stand-up. I thought stand-up was a byproduct of being famous, not the other way around. So I was just like, just kind of sitting on the idea of doing stand-up. I had written a couple jokes, but never did anything with it. Then my brother started doing stand-up. And I was like, what do you mean you're doing stand-up? And he's like, oh, yeah, I just went to an open mic. And I was like, you can just go to an open mic. Okay. So I wrote a bunch of jokes and I actually had the intention of giving him the jokes. That was the motivation first. I was like, oh, if I can write jokes and then give him jokes. And then I wrote enough where I was like, well, if I can write them, why don't I just do it? And then I just found a place to go do it. I found a place that did comedy once a week, and I went and did it. And the first one went well enough, and then I just started doing it. And then after about a year or like a year and a half or something like that into doing stand-up, I was living in Mexico at the time. That was enough for me to be like, oh, I want to do this. It was the first thing I ever like worked hard at. I had always slacked at everything in my life. It was the first thing that like inspired me, that gave me drive, that gave me like a reason to get up, that like it changed my life and my perception of what I could do with myself. So after that happened, I was like, all right, I'm going to take this seriously. And I like sold everything I owned. I moved to Toronto, and then I just like chased it down. And I remember at one of my first shows in Toronto, they introduced a comic and they're like, he's one of the hardest working people in the city. And I was like, I want people to say that about me. And within, I think about 2 or 3 years, people were saying that about me.
Well, you talk a lot. Again, I heard this on an interview, which I thought was very I thought it was amazing and interesting and something I'd like to normalize. So I'd like to talk about it if you were open to it.
Yeah, 100%.
You talk about how you were really grinding in 2020 and you were working so hard doing Twitches and you were doing 6 videos a day on TikTok, which is a lot. I mean, creating content, putting it out there, understanding how to do it properly is so much work. And then you were sleeping about 4 hours and then doing mushrooms as well.
Yeah, I had a mushroom trip that was that whole arc of the only sleeping 4 hours. That was a little bit before 2020. It was more like kind of my first dip into Toronto. I was like trying to create content on all these different platforms. TikTok wasn't even around yet. But
so this was before the pandemic. You were getting your social media. I know you were doing YouTube, but I wasn't even familiar with Twitch until the pandemic.
So Twitch was the first thing I kind of delved into to like expand into something else. It's a hard grind, and I'm still doing Twitch stuff. I stopped for a long time and then came back into it. And we're really trying to find out the angle to get it going. It's a grind. But at that point, I was like kind of pushing my body to its limit. I was probably like 22 or 23. And then I had like a wild mushroom trip that I ate like 6 grams of mushrooms. I was by myself. I had this moment where I was like laying in bed. I put a towel over my face so I could have like some sort of like sensory deprivation. And the first thing I felt the mushrooms were showing me were what would happen when I sleep. So I felt like my sinuses clearing and my like ears opening up and like my body relaxing, and I could feel like knots in my back untwisting. And who knows, maybe it's just the mushrooms. Maybe this stuff was really happening.
Listen, I do ketamine IV drips, and I've had many mushroom trips.
Yeah,
I cannot recommend it. I started the ketamine. People are like, you do ketamine, and it's not like the white party. It's like I have to go to a doctor and really do it properly.
Yeah.
But I experienced so many things, and truly, it's the only thing that got me through 2020 and through my trauma that I felt like would never go away.
I've heard, the ketamine treatment is very good.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing.
But it was a trip on mushrooms where the mushrooms was kind of showing me like you can't be sleeping 4 hours a night. You need to be like taking proper rest because this is what's happening while you're sleeping. All this healing isn't happening. And then I had like an emotional healing thing where I started like basically like reliving moments and interactions with my parents where like certain insecurities were passed on to me, and acknowledging that's not your feeling. That's a feeling someone else gave to you, and that's not a part of you. And for the first time, I really felt like I was letting go of my insecurities, of my anxiety, of a lot of my stresses. And there was a moment where I was like hugging myself and like looking in the mirror and saying, I love you. And it was like a wild mushroom trip. Like it was a type of mushroom trip where you hear people do ayahuasca and they're like, I changed my life and I quit my job and I did stuff. It was something like that. I was like, yo, I didn't know you could have this kind of experience on drugs. It was really life-changing.
Yeah. Let's talk about your parents for a second, because I will say, when my grandma died in 2020, I haven't spoken to my mother in years. I'm very open about that. I recently went to therapy 2 years ago with my dad, and we're buddies now. Like, I love my dad. He was on the show. I dragged him for filth. He said he was sorry.
Right on,
You
right
know,
on.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's really great. I'm so happy to have him. But through the ketamine treatments and talk therapy, I really wanted to like dive into it so I can let that shit go.
Yeah.
Because if I do choose to have children, I don't want that generational trauma. I don't want to continue bringing it with me.
Yeah.
Did you find that it's brought you peace in regards to your mother and not speaking to her?
Yeah, it definitely did. Like, I still talk to some of my other siblings. I still like hear about some of the way she acts and stuff like that. And I don't feel like my conclusion was that having any sort of relationship to her wouldn't benefit me at all. Right. And I'm not seeing like a transactional, like, oh, unless you are like, I'm a relationship with you, like makes me money or something like that. No, I mean like, I think it would legitimately make my life worse to interact with her and hang out with her. And so it was just like, yeah, it gave me peace with that, of knowing that I'm fine with this. And also understanding like what a healthy relationship is with a person. Because like when you grow up and you don't have a healthy relationship with someone who's that close to you, then you have to like kind of relearn how to treat people and how people should treat you. And then understanding what it feels to have like a real family around you, to have like really close friends who you can count on and trust, and have siblings who you can count on and trust, and building a different type of family around yourself. Because I feel like I have a very good social structure around me. Like, I really enjoy my friends. I really enjoy my siblings. Like me and my dad have we're not super close. He's sick now. He has Alzheimer's, and
I'm sorry.
It's not the best. Like, it's just, you have to accept that that's a reality. But I feel like we were getting close, and we were starting to build a little bit more of a bond and getting to know each other a little bit more authentically as people. Because definitely growing up, I had like I hid everything from my parents. But then he got sick, and then we couldn't forge that in the same way. But I just have to be very grateful for what I do have around me.
That's got to be such a mind fuck that you finally get the opportunity to make amends with your father. You're doing so, and then he suffers from Alzheimer's.
A little bit, but I'm just grateful for like the moments we did have where we were like building and being like, it wasn't that we weren't genuine when I was growing up. It was just like there was a lot of stress in my household. My parents shouldn't have been together for as long as they were. They were like fighting and all sorts of stuff, and it was constant stress in the household. And then when they finally got divorced, it was like, oh, now we can all kind of step away from that toxicity that was in the home and build different relationships with each other. And me and my dad started to do that, and he was off doing his own thing too. He was traveling a ton. I wasn't living in BC anymore, so there wasn't constant communication between us. But I'm happy for that a little bit of time we had to build something for me to get to know him a lot better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, I appreciate your honesty and vulnerability so much, just because I think it's so special and important when we see these comedians, the jokers of the world, the funny guys, the putter-oners, the showers, like doing their thing. And then not oftentimes are able to express their own, issues or heartache. And I think especially in 2023, it's just so relatable. The world is so crazy right now, and mental health is such a forefront for so many people and things. But like, truly, some of the funniest, greatest people really do suffer with the most heartache. Not that Robin Williams by any means died from that, but you look at comics who, work through severe depression their entire careers.
Yeah, I think there's definitely that stereotype of the depressed comic, the sad clown kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which is true. There's a lot of people who are dealing with different mental health stuff. I do think that comedy has evolved to a point now where comics are just people, and like people deal with shit. I see comedy kind of over the next few years, and I think it's already on that trajectory now, where it's going to be more in the realm of music. I don't know if it'll break to the level that music does, where you have like maybe a comic who's like, The Weeknd just broke a record recently, like in Milan, where he sold like 164,000 tickets or something.
Wow.
Like, I don't know if comedy will ever hit that.
I don't know. It might, because look at Vegas. Like, I didn't ever think that, like, let's say Sebastian Maniscalco would be headlining at the same time Adele is.
Yeah.
And now look, I mean, people would not rather, but they're definitely like, we're going to see both. It's not even a choice.
Yeah. And I think that's the shift that comedy has made now, where comedy is just it's such a relatable medium people can consume, and people like telling jokes to each other. And comedy is like a foundation of life. Like if we took away all the stand-up and all the sitcoms and everything, people would still sit around and joke with their friends and make each other laugh. Like laughter is just, it's an essential part of being a human being. But yeah, in terms of like the sad comic, I think we've broken out of that, and comedy is fractured into basically like, it's just going to keep growing into every direction, whether you have like, comics who can relate to people in the LGBT community way more, or in even the different specific areas of that community. And then you have someone like Matt Rife, who's kind of like a Justin Bieber of comedy.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah, like Matt Rife's like huge explosion, and he is like introducing, I think introducing is the right word. Introducing a whole different type of person to comedy. If you look at his audience, he's taken nothing off of my plate. There's literally like almost zero crossover. You have like young women and then like moms. And that's his audience. And like you would never see a comedy audience like that 20 years ago. That just did not exist. So yeah, I guess my commentary on that is that some comics are sad, some comics are not. Comics are just like people now.
Yeah, but I also think that you're really smart, and I think that you're really, I hate this word, so I don't want to use it, but I think you're really like healing and progressive. And I just want to like commend you on that, because you're also young, like 30's young. Thank you. You're like, you've blown up. How many followers do you have now on TikTok?
I'm at 7.8. I've been at 7.8 for a consistent amount of time now.
Just 7.8 loser. Sucks. How embarrassing for you. Awkward.
No, but it's been good. It's been good. Like everything has been so great. Everything has been so, like, I'm so grateful for all these things that happened. When I started doing stand-up, I thought I would be successful. Like I was like, I didn't even think about being successful. I just was like, I'm going to get really funny. I'm just going to keep trying to be funny and keep writing jokes and make more jokes. And I put out an album, and it's just like, you just keep going in that way.
But this is where you win, dude. And I respect it so much, because I've interviewed, I'm friends with, we know people that blew up in the pandemic because there wasn't a lot to do, and people lost their jobs and they were doing TikTok. Yeah. And it's so easy to edit, filter, whatever, a look, a personality, and then you meet them in person and you're like, fuck, you suck. Like, and not in a rude way by any means, because I like everybody, but
not everyone's entertaining.
You know, everyone has their thing, but the crossover is the same in real life. Yeah. And I think the people that really win are the people that had been doing it before, that had a plan. You were already a stand-up comedian. Yeah. You were already a writer, most importantly. And this platform was just able to really build what you already had going, which is different than people that just found TikTok in 2020.
I'm very fortunate for that, because it wasn't like when my manager found me. Shout out to my manager. She's incredible.
What's her name?
Rachel Williams.
Rachel Williams.
Yeah, Rachel Williams.
You go, girl.
Absolute shark, man. She's out there like getting me work, getting in the muck. Like
she's a woman, so it's not
she
surprising.
Works hard. Yeah, that was a huge appeal, because it's like sometimes you find someone, they have a big following, you're like, okay, what do we do with this person? But it's like, oh, we immediately know what we're going to do with this guy. We're going to book him in comedy clubs and get him touring and get him on the road, because he has hours of material and he can go out there and perform. And he's been. It's like it took nothing. It took no training. I've done all the work, and I think that helps for anyone who's like watching this, who's like thinking about how to be creative. It helps having like a North Star, or like I call it the crown jewel. Like everything centers around stand-up. So if I make a TV show, if I'm making content, if I'm creating things, my focus is always, how does this make more people come to the shows? How does this make me funnier? Help me write better jokes? And if it doesn't feed that at all, then it's something I can push aside to make sure that I'm constantly moving towards this goal of being a great comic, which helps you say no to things you don't want to do, or be sure of what you should say no to.
Yeah. I love that advice so much. Also, though, credit to you for, like, you could have the best manager, the best team, and I'm sure they are, and shout out to Rachel. But you also came in, you knowing what you're doing. Like, it's easy to sell you because you created the path for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, so, like, major credit to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I want to play this game with you because you really blew up doing commentary.
Yes.
On videos, and then now your reaction videos are amazing on TikTok. What is one of your favorite, just one of your favorite reaction videos?
Okay, one of my favorite, I'm not even in the video that's one of my favorites.
And he's not even a narcissist. I'd be like, my favorite video is when I did.
There's one video that I just spliced two things together. This girl was going viral from a podcast where she's like, I've literally got strep throat 5 times from licking poop off of people. And she's like, she does porn. And so she's like doing anal scenes and stuff.
We live in.
But I spliced that with, have you seen Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah, duh.
Okay, so the scene with what's his name? Tai Long. When Tai Long sees the 5, I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, yeah.
When he sees them on the bridge, I spliced that together so it cuts from that immediately to Tai Long, and it's on top it says me who's caught chlamydia 5 times, which is true. It's 6 now, but it was 5 at the time. It says me who caught chlamydia 5 times, and Tai Long goes, "Finally, a worthy opponent. Our battle will be legendary." That's
oh my God,
one of my
amazing.
favorite videos. That I made that like because I make a lot of content. So sometimes you're like just trying to get shit out for the day, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to make today. But there's some times where I make something and I send it to everyone, being like, yo, you're gonna look at this heater before I put it out. This one's cooking. This one cooks. And
yes,
I really, really loved that one. Yeah,
I love that. For people that are watching or listening, I think we live in a world now where it really is social media centric.
Yes.
And I think we've seen that even with the writer's strike. Like, everything is how many numbers do you have? What's the following?
Yes.
And for people that were very opposed to TikTok, because if you were on TikTok in 2020, you for sure blew up.
Yeah.
If you didn't, I don't know what happened, because it was an opportunity for singers, comedians, people to really, if they took advantage of the opportunity without it being completely oversaturated because people weren't as familiar.
Yes.
If you're starting in 2023, understanding the business, and that really is the way it goes, whether you like it or not, it had to have gotten frustrating at points when you posted something that you thought was amazing and it didn't go viral immediately.
I'm learning like the algorithm's constantly changing. So it's like and I've been doing entertainment for long enough now that you know that all of this stuff comes in like peaks and plateaus. Like 2020 and the TikTok boom was like a perfect example of things like shooting up. And in 2017, I did Just for Laughs, and I like came runner up in a competition, then got to do all these festivals, and that opened me up to doing a bunch of stuff, and I shot up. But in between those is a 3-year period where I was like going on the road, grinding, making a little bit of money, just trying to like etch up in the Toronto comedy scene, or like moving to Toronto and like really just like kind of grinding my way through the scene, and then now moving to New York and like trying to get past at these clubs, and some clubs aren't looking at me and some clubs are. And so there's just, I mean, you know, there's moments of explosion, and you have to like rejoice for the moments of explosion. But when it settles down again, you don't go like, oh my God, it's all over. You go like, this is part of. You go on a
shroom and ketamine trip.
Yes.
And you figure it out.
Perfect example that I always look at is Keanu Reeves' career. Keanu Reeves in the 90s, Bill and Ted's Adventure, Point Break. It was Point Break, right? Yeah. The Matrix, he's the guy. And then like he's doing like The Lake House and stuff, and you're like not really seeing him, and he's in some indie stuff here and there. And then it's like John Wick, and all of a sudden he's everywhere. He's in like the biggest video game getting released. They do The Matrix 4, and he's like the guy again. That's what I feel like most people's entertainment careers are if they're lucky enough to be successful. I'm so lucky to even be here. Very few people are ultra famous the entire time and just catapult up. And I bet you even those people, from their perspective, because they're rating it on a different scale, they're having ebbs and flows in their career as well.
Yeah. I feel like you do give Keanu Reeves vibes.
Oh, yeah?
Because I do feel like he's also a really good dude. Like, you've heard really great stories about Keanu Reeves and how he's given back. You know that the photo that went viral that he had stood up on the bus and like gave that woman the seat, which shouldn't be like groundbreaking, but it is. Yeah. Like, it was just such a cool dude move. And I think that he's like been so successful, and during those in-betweens, he's just a good dude.
Just a good guy, man. Just a good guy. And he's just like sticking to his thing. And people dog on him for his like acting or whatever, but you watch him in John Wick and he's like...
Who the fuck is dogging him?
People dog on him all the time. But he, like, what he's able to do physically in his things is so good. John Wick, apparently some Marine was like watching the movie and was like, it has the most accurate gunplay of any movie. So he's in there learning all this stuff, doing all these crazy things, man. And he's like, and he's also doing Keanu. He's like, this is like, we know what we're getting.
1,000%. He's one of the most natural actors I've ever seen on camera as well. Like, he's not a try-hard.
No.
He's not doing shit. Who the fuck is talking about Keanu Reeves?
People are dogging on him.
This is also the second time Keanu Reeves has come up in my podcast.
And he's also Canadian.
Okay. Correlation.
Yeah. I don't
know
where.
Are you Keanu Reeves?
I don't know where he's from in Canada, though.
Are you Keanu Reeves?
Am I Keanu Reeves? No.
You're giving me energy.
That's pretty good energy to give. I'm down with that. Have you ever seen that clip of him where they're like, what's a good day? And he's like, you wake up, you have breakfast, have sex, go for a motorcycle ride, go to the beach, come home, have sex again, play with your dog, have sex. Like, that's...
Wait, I saw that quote, but I didn't know that was from Keanu.
Yeah, that's Keanu Reeves.
Keanu's a fucking freak.
Yeah. He's like, he's like, that's a good day. And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's a good day.
Okay, yeah, dude. You know what I think is such a miss, and it's so devastating to me, is that Sandra Bullock did this interview. Did you see it? And I'm also a big Sandra stan. Like, I loved her. I think she's so funny. I think she's hot. From Miss Congeniality to Practical Magic, 28 Days. She's giving what needs to be given, bitch.
Right on.
And it was said that, I guess Keanu told Ellen DeGeneres in an interview that, like, he had a really big crush on her. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry. Sandra said to Ellen... she had a really big crush on him during the time that they were filming. What was the movie they filmed together?
I think it was The Lake House, wasn't it?
It was another one. They were driving, a lot of driving in it.
Oh, Speed.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. She was like, I had a mad crush on him, da-da-da-da. And then he said to Ellen, because Ellen brought it up, of course, he said, I wish I would have known I had the biggest crush on her. And it was a misconnection.
Misconnection big time.
Doesn't that suck? They would have been a great couple. Saved her from all that bullshit she had to go through.
Who she was with?
Her exes.
That was
Jesse James.
Jesse James, yeah.
And he sucked.
Does he suck?
Yeah, dude, he cheated on her.
Oh, I don't know anything about Jesse James.
I know everything. Well, I don't know anything about him, but like he cheated on her. Then he was with Kat Von D.
Yeah.
Then he cheated on her.
Yeah.
It was like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't cheat on Sandra.
Yeah.
She doesn't deserve that. Stupid bitch.
Dude, he's out there wilding.
Okay, let's wild in here. I'm going to give you these. Headlines are wild now.
Yes.
And just the headlines I found this week are insane.
There's some good ones. Some ones are cooking in there.
I'm going to give you 4.
All right.
And I just want you, for everybody to also understand, this is totally off the cuff. Like, we didn't talk about this. I'm going to read it, and you're going to give your straight up improv answer.
Yeah.
Because you're that fucking good, dude. Okay. Headline number 1.
Yeah.
This game is called 1-2, Che.
Okay.
Americans seem unconcerned with UFOs and aliens as milk is spoiling the mood after gallon goes for $20.
Yeah, the whole alien thing, I'm like, Pixar didn't happen. We want to see like nude alien bods. I want to see what their genitals look like. That's what we're big on right now. Do they got dicks? Do they got pussies? Do they got cheeks, man? Or are they clappable? And yeah, bro, if I can't afford milk, if I can't buy milk, I can't give a fuck about an alien. Are they going to come fix our shit?
Do these aliens have breast milk? Because that's what we could be using now.
I could have a nice bowl of cereal for less than $6, maybe.
Hello?
Yeah.
You're so fucking crazy. Okay. You're good, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, I already knew, but it just pleases me in such a way.
Thank you.
Love smart people. Okay. Drake concert goer receives a major Playboy deal after throwing double G bra on stage.
I saw this. I saw Drake pick up the bra. I saw him say, "Someone find this woman." Like immediately, he was like, "We got to track her down." This just goes show. This is like the Wayne Gretzky thing. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Hey!
Did she think she was gonna bang Drake? Maybe. Maybe she did. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she just believed in herself. But it has snowballed into her having like a whole new career now. You got to get out there. You got to chase your dreams, guys. No matter what they are. No matter what they are.
Yeah. And like Wayne Gretzky, you got to throw your double G titty bra, and wherever it lands is where it is meant to land.
Exactly.
That was beautiful advice. Thank you,
you.
Che. Fuck it up. Number 3. Is art imitating life? Jamie Foxx has been cloned after new movie about being cloned.
Every time I see a story like this, part of me wants to get famous enough that people make conspiracy theories about me. Because he's on the other side of this people being like, he's a clone. Like he died and they needed. And also, why wouldn't we just let Jamie Foxx die? Like what? What is in the conspiracy theory shadow government plan where they're like, no, Jamie can't die yet. We need him. He's going to be the sponsor person for adrenochrome. Are you up to date on adrenochrome? Yeah.
Yes, I am. Listen, I'm upset. Oh my God, my fiance just fell in love with you. I mean nothing to her. I'm telling you.
You guys are big on the QAnon and stuff?
Yeah. She really is.
Love it.
And I think it's wild and interesting. And I don't always talk about it because people are like, okay, tin hat. And I'm like, I'm not, dude. I just love it all.
Love it.
I think it's amazing.
If anyone at home doesn't know what we're talking about, adrenochrome is apparently this like drug that the shadow government elite take. And the way they get it is they harvest it from kids. They steal kids and they have to like stress them to death. So they torture them and then they suck it out of their pineal gland and it's like what keeps them young and hot. And we started talking about this on the stream. And so we're going crazy about adrenochrome. And so we made this like you can get emotes that if you subscribe, you can use emotes. And we made an emote called Adrenakid. And it's a kid like...
Stop!
Yeah.
You're fucking sick.
And he's screaming and he has a third eye and energy is coming out of his third eye.
You're a bad bitch.
Dude, Adrenakid. I love Adrenakid.
Yeah.
He's
now
the
sold anywhere you can get kids. Okay. Then I'm going to ask you this headline.
Yes.
I want to talk about it, and then I'll give you my final one.
Okay.
Because if you're into this shit, I want to know your opinion on this.
Okay.
GOP senator freezes at the mic.
Oh,
Mitch McConnell zonked out.
Dude, Mitch McConnell zonking out. Man, dude, it was bound to happen, dog. Like he's so old. He's ancient. He's on his last legs. I think we got to put in something where like once you're a certain age and you're in office.
He's 81.
81, exactly. They just need to start chucking these guys into a dumpster or something. We got to get over it.
They kind of did though because he was like just frozen. More than my fucking Botox ever did, but that's okay. And they all just like stared at him.
Yeah.
Like that poor man, whether you believe in his political beliefs or not, was just standing there. And then nobody did anything.
Well, I think they didn't know what to do because he's just talking and then he stops talking. And then it's like 30 or 45 seconds. And you give him like 10, 15 and you go like, is he just taking a long pause? And then you get another like 10, 15 of you being like, yo, Mitch. Are you good? And then they have to be like, oh, he's not good. And like, just like.
But meanwhile, he's like, I am good. And you're like, babe, you just took a 30-second pause on life.
Yeah, you're not good,
I don't know if you're good, babe.
All the memes about it were like him. It's like he's fully shitting right now. He's like, some dude tweeted, he's like, my 3-year-old daughter does this all the time.
The Adrenakid.
The Adrenakid.
Okay, final headline. Manatee dies after high-intensity You deserve better than that. Manatee dies after high-intensity sex with brother at Florida aquarium.
Dude, this is what happens when you put animals in captivity. They're just like, you got nothing to do. You're normally a manatee. You're floating around the Florida waters. You're eating kelp. Also, apparently manatees love to bang. Isn't the manatee the one that apparently has the closest to a human vagina?
Listen to me. This is a real story. I swear to God.
Yeah.
I did this. I don't know why all my stories start with when I was on a cruise. I've only done 3. I don't know what happened, but that's where everything stems from.
Yeah.
I went on this Christmas cruise,
Okay.
which I'll never fucking do again because I love Christmas. And I was like in the Bahamas, and I was like, I hate palm trees for Christmas.
Yeah, you want the snow.
I want the shit.
Yeah.
I go with the captain. The captain is like, come with us, because I was singing. I was the entertainer. So he's like, come with us. We're going to go to this fucking Sea World.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I do. I'm vibing. They're like, you can get in the water with the manatees. I had my breast implants at the time. I've since taken them out. But I was giving what needed to be given.
Yes.
Partly my fault. I will take some blame for that.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the water. This fucking manatee with his little manatee hands grabs my hip and literally starts humping me. No. And I was like, this manatee is humping me. And nobody, it was like I was Mitch McConnell. Nobody did anything.
Nobody helped?
They were laughing. They were taking photo. And I'm 5'2". I was like, get this a bitch off of me. And this manatee was just sexually harassing me. I might have been pregnant unless it was a vagina. And then that started my lesbian days much earlier than I thought. It was a fucking nightmare. And I'm not surprised by that little sick manatee.
Yeah, dude.
They're perverts.
They are apparently pretty pervy. That's what people say. That's the whole thing with like a mermaid. A mermaid was actually a manatee, and people used to have sex with them. That's the thing.
What?
I don't know. Maybe I'm making that up, but I'm pretty sure that's the thing. It's like people like olden times. So like there's
That's an old sailor.
Old sailor.
Yeah.
Wait, you know that too, babe?
I do.
Yeah, they would have sex with the manatees.
The mermaid would have her fishtail and like upper body.
But it was just cow on the top. And they just went in and they banged the manatees. You're on a boat for a long time. You see a manatee, it's appealing. It's all dudes. You're like, only thing with a pussy for like 100 nautical miles.
You're telling me these pirates were out here fucking manatees?
Apparently. I don't know. I don't know for sure.
I owe the manatee community an apology. I thought I was being assaulted.
He was getting one back for the team. That's what was going on.
And he was like, this is what we're used to. This is our culture. And you kind of look like a pirate with your long black hair and nose ring that I had at the time. Okay, my bad, dude.
He was just confused, man. He was like, I thought this was what it was about.
All the things we are learning.
Yeah.
Listen, dude, I think you're so funny and you're so cool. And I know that everyone feels that way, I'm sure. But where can people see you? I know that you're in Vegas, but you have a full tour happening for people that...
So if they want tour dates or anything, go to Durena.com. Some stuff coming up is Pontiac, Michigan. I'm going to be in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm going to be in Austin, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, Denver, Minneapolis, Appleton, Wisconsin, and Madison, Wisconsin. Those are all the things on the table right now. There might be some other stuff coming up with...
he says it with a little smirky.
A big comedian might take me off for some dates. I can't say anything yet. I can't. I can tell you off. I can tell you off air, but I can't say anything yet. Because nothing is confirmed yet.
Okay.
But yeah, so there might be something else that's going to be a big announcement, something very exciting soon. For all socials, Durena, Chedurena. I'm Durena on all platforms, on Twitch and Kick and YouTube for gaming content. It is Little Dinky News.
Little dinky news.
Yeah.
For people that are coming to see you, which will be many, does your stand-up, is it different than your TikTok videos? Is it in the same vein of comedy?
If it's in the same vein of comedy, like if you find the TikToks funny, you'll find the stand-up hilarious. I consistently say the stand-up's what I do the best at, but there is no crossover in content. Like I've never... any joke that I've turned into a TikTok is old stuff that's like on my album that I don't perform live anymore. So everything will be brand new content live.
And do you talk about family? Do you like bring any of that up, or do you keep it less personal?
The main line through most of my hour that I'm doing right now is mostly like my own degeneracy, like my relationship with drugs, my view on like the world dying, and then a lot of like sex and relationship stuff. On the back end. The beginning part is like all drugs and like life, and then the back end is all like sex and dating. And then
this literally sounds like Keanu Reeves' perfect day.
Yeah, it could be.
That's what it is. Do you have any sex advice? I feel like you're a good sex advisor for people to
communication. I know that's a real simple one, but like ask a person what they're into. If you're unsure about something, like do you like to be choked? Do you want to be slapped? What's your feeling on spit? Like all these things are like good questions. And also if someone asks you a question, don't be shy. Be like communicative back. Because I've definitely like hooked up with girls and been like, oh, how's that? Do you like this or what are you into? And they're like, I don't know. Like I'm touching a girl's clit and I'm like, is that too hard? Is it too soft? And she's like, it's fine. And I'm like, I can tell it's not fine, but you can just let me know.
Yeah, you're like, talk to me, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What sign are you? When's your birthday?
My sign?
Yeah.
You gotta guess if you're gonna ask.
Are you Capricorn?
No.
I'm a Capricorn. Okay, you didn't need to fucking yell. First of all, it was just a question. Are you a Pisces?
No.
Oh my God, 2 for 2. Okay, are you a, hold on, don't, shut up. Okay, I've really got to focus now.
Are you an air sign?
No. That's too big of a question though. You just like, you're trying to knock out, or Capricorn, Pisces
Are you
with water
Scorpio?
signs? No.
What the fuck are you? Okay, are you?
I don't know. You guys are so good at this
Go
astrology
ahead, go
stuff.
baby, go. Go, Amber, go. What's your guess? I appreciate being made a fool of my own show, but by all means. I'm a fucking asshole right now.
Are you a Sagittarius?
No.
Are you a sign? Do you have a sign?
I have a sign, and it's none of the ones you guys said.
You a Leo?
No.
You can't be an Aries.
No, I'm not an Aries. You guys are so bad.
Wait, shut up. Are you a Virgo?
No.
Gemini.
No. I think there's a 1 left.
You would never believe me. I really do know astrology. Are you a fucking Aquarius?
No.
Oh my God. What's left? A Taurus?
Taurus. I'm a Taurus.
You stubborn bitch. Of course you are. This whole journey took us to the most stubborn sign. When's your little dumb birthday?
May 18th. I'm right at the end of Taurus.
Oh, almost a cusp, but not.
You're a cusp.
Yeah, like I think Gemini starts on the 21st, and so I'm on the 18th, so I'm like all the way at the end of Taurus.
Okay, but you did mention moon and rising. You know what your moon and rising is?
Oh, fuck, I don't. I've had girls do it before, but I think one of them is like an Aries. I think
Let's
my
go.
Venus.
Are you an
Aries
Aries?
rising.
Are you?
I don't know if that's true, though. I don't know.
I could see you being an Aries rising. Honestly, no one should take my advice now with that fucking display I just gave.
Someone sent it to me once. I know what time I'm born, so we can look it up.
You want to do it?
You want to do it? Yeah,
I do want to do it. Okay, because you wouldn't believe this, and then I'll literally let you go do your actual life. But I'm obsessed with you, and I'm not letting you leave this chair. Okay, I'm going to my little site, Cafe Astrology, in case anyone wants to know. I really do believe in. Do you believe in this kind of stuff?
Not at all. I don't subscribe to it at all. Especially after that guessing game. You guys talked to me for what? How long we've been going at this for?
An hour. We've been friends.
For an hour. You got an hour of insight, and you couldn't nail it down.
I don't pay attention that much. I was
swear to God, I think the
out
leg
already.
hair grew back from my laser hair removal. I was getting so nervous. I was like, come on. Know it. Okay, we're going to do it. Cafe Astrology birth chart.
Okay, we're going to get it live, guys. Live.
I've never done this live, but this is how important it is to me because now I want to know. Okay, full name.
Full name, Che Durena. Chedurena.
He, she, they.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, May 18th.
May 18th. I was born in, let me know.
Yeah.
I was born in New Westminster.
Wait, what year?
1992.
You're 7 years old. Okay, what time were you born?
I think it was 5:18 or 5:28 in the morning. Let's go with 5:28. That sounds more right.
He's an early guy. Early. You were doing business even as a newborn. You're like 5:28, gotta clock in.
On Monday too.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah.
He slammed. Okay, birthplace.
New Westminster, British Columbia.
New Westminster. Minster?
Yes.
Okay, first of all, you are going to show up right now. I'm usually so much more not put together. Okay, Westmin.
I think.
Oh, got it. Found her.
Okay.
Found her. Don't you move a muscle.
Here we go, guys.
You
We're gonna
ready?
get my
She's
full
loading.
everything.
My armpits are sweating. My fucking armpits are sweating. You're okay. Here we go, bitch.
Okay, give me the rundown.
I'll screenshot and send this to you.
Yes,
Your sun is a Taurus.
I'm a Taurus sun. Okay.
Your moon is a Sagittarius.
Okay.
I was close in some ways.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were, mama. Did a lot of good guessing over there. Didn't fucking help me at all, but thank you for your input. Your rising, you're a double Taurus. This makes sense now.
Of course it makes sense. After we look at it, of course it makes sense.
I dated 2 Tauruses, and I know why it didn't work out. That fucking grit, and you guys know it all. I am also an Earth sign. I'm a Capricorn. I feel like we should be vibing right now on Earth.
I feel like, aren't we vibing? Didn't we vibe?
Yeah, but now I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you and your 7.8 million followers who think I don't know astrology. I'm every stereotype ever known to man.
Hey, I mean, I think it's whatever gets you through the day. Like, you like it makes you feel good, gives you a sense of security as well.
Yeah, I have a lot of security based off my guesses. Stable as can be. Jay, you're the fucking bomb. I'm
Thank
so
you.
grateful that you made time. I know that
appreciate it.
people, by the time they see this, you will not be in Vegas anymore.
Yeah.
But they can go to your Instagram, see all your dates.
Yes.
Honestly, break a leg. I hope everything, and I know everything will work out so well with
Thank
all the
you.
big news coming up.
Thank
And
you.
please come visit us anytime you want, but just keep the fucking attitude at the door.
For sure. I will.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye. So Funny It Hurts is brought to you by Pacific West Injury Law. Got into an accident? Contact Pacific West Injury Law. Also, there's nothing better for your mental health than a great workout. And our episode is brought to you by Fit Club, the only place to be. It's so funny, it hurts.